I'm the Little Red Riding Hood, can't you tell? You guys, we're gonna talk about Into the Woods. Funny story, first musical I was ever, that's not true. I was in a musical in high school and I was in Into the Woods. I'd never heard of this play or this whatever musical till then, but it was one of the most fun productions I was ever a part of. Yes, I was in drama in high school. So naturally, when the movie came out, I was thrilled and enjoyed it thoroughly. I've heard a lot of people went to see the movie and didn't know it was a musical and then were super disappointed when they sang most of the movie. But I loved it. Anyway, so some things I want to talk about in this movie that I super appreciate about the theme and what was going on here. There's a scene where the baker and his wife are in the woods and they've been bickering and fighting and trying to figure out how to get their kid born and how to follow the tasks that the witch gives them and all that. And they sing this song called It Takes Two in the woods. I'm gonna be pulling up my notes here to kind of make sure that I'm reading these words correctly, but she looks at him, she says, "You've changed, you're daring, you're different in the woods. More sure, more sharing, you're getting us through the woods." And they both just kind of go back and forth about how their character has refined and grown and their contribution is so much more meaningful and they're braver and more intentional and thoughtful. And I think this is a beautiful display of a couple both on the same page moving toward a single goal together. Beautiful, love it. I don't know if there are a ton of couples today that get to have that experience. I think people just end up in their lives doing their thing. Husband's going to work, mom's probably going to work, but doing the home thing, right? And just kind of in two different worlds, and then they come together for dinner, maybe, probably, and then kind of veg out for the rest of the night and go to bed. For the most part, it seems to be that's like the average experience. But having them in the woods together, facing the odds together, both trying to accomplish the same thing and tag teaming and collaborating and cooperating, brought out this vibrancy and this unity and this playfulness and this adventure and this heroic rise to the occasion in both of them, which caused them both to respect and mutually submit to each other's authority in this journey. Beautiful. So getting to watch them playfully and hilariously like collaborate, trying to get the cow as white as milk. The hair is what's the hair? The hair is yellow as corn. The slipper is pure as gold. Anyway, so I love that bit. Beautiful, unified romance between these two lovers working it out together, going on an adventure on the same team. Love that. In your marriage, if you're married and you're watching this is kind of awkward for me to say because I'm not married, but in all the work that I've done with married couples, when they're on the same team working towards something and they both get to look at something outside of their relationship that they're both working toward and supporting each other in, their dynamic tends to thrive and they tend to come alive and they tend to have a lot more ease in connecting and valuing each other appropriately. Beautiful. So if you're having some marital problems, find an adventure that you're supposed to go on together that you guys have to work together to accomplish or to defeat or whatever, and it'll be shocking how much of those petty, silly things that are getting in the way will just not even be there anymore. There's that. All right, so another thing that it was super cool in this is the witch. She's actually one of my favorite characters in this whole movie. She has a song where it's the last midnight, and so she has this timetable that she's trying to get to become beautiful again, right? And this giant shows up and starts trying to kill people and trying to find Jack because Jack killed her husband. And so they're trying to figure out if they should give Jack or not. And the people are like, "We can't give him, he'll die." And she's like, "Give me the boy." And they won't. So she says, "Nothing we can do, not exactly true. We could always give him the boy, give her the boy." And they're like, "No." She's like, "No, of course. What really matters is the blame. Someone you can blame. Fine, if that's the thing you enjoy, placing the blame, if that's the aim, give me the blame. Just give me the boy." And they wouldn't. And she's like, "No, you're so nice. You're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. I wish I wasn't singing this. I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right. I'm the witch, you're the world." And I actually very much, probably in a deeper way than is appropriate, identify with the witch's perspective in this whole conversation. And basically what's being displayed here is we've got all these people who are morally compromised. They don't want to give up the boy, but not out of compassion or out of a daring, like, moral uprightness. It's out of, like, their guilt. Like, we can't let this kid die. That would be the wrong thing to do. They don't even know the kid. They're not coming from some moral high ground. They're just trying to appease their own guilt. And the witch is, like, convicted. She's like, "Let's give this giant the boy so that this giant will leave the land and not kill everyone." Obviously, don't love that option either. But her standard in this, her stance in this whole argument is, you guys, you're all trying to like play the nice card and try and fit into your version of what morality looks like, and it's this struggle and you're conflicted and it's all just back and forth and double-minded. I'm not good, I'm not bad, I'm just right. So she said, I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right. I'm not trying to appeal to anybody's perspective. I just want to get results here. And I think the entrepreneur in me loves this bit, because one thing I love about entrepreneurship is entrepreneurs have to get results. They're just going to get results, not to make sure anybody thinks a certain thing, or they're not doing the PR thing, they're just trying to produce something, right? And I have such a value for this specifically because in scripture, in the Bible, God is looking for a return on his investment. What did he give you? Is there something more that came back to him than what he gave you to begin with? Did you bring an increase with your talents, with your abilities, with your relationships, with your opportunities, with your life? Like, did you grow something from what you were given, or did you hide it? Did you stay safe? Did you try to cater to all the different voices in your world and try and appeal as many people as possible? Because that's not his agenda. It's not what God's looking for. So I love that the witch represents this stark, like, clear distinction on what needs to happen regardless of what anybody thinks. She's brave enough and convicted enough to do what she needs to, even though she knows she'll be judged for it. I actually very much respect that stance, and I think we'd all do a lot better in life if we would actually embrace what we know is right and good and true, regardless of what people think, and do what's necessary, even when it's uncomfortable or when we're not praised for it. So I love that bit. And the last thing I want to talk about in this movie, even though there's so many things, Anna Kendrick does an amazing job singing The Steps of the Palace. I love that number. So talented. It was so impressive. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was there's a song called Wishes Are Children. This is at the end of the movie, or the musical, or whatever. And the witch has some lines in this song that are actually so profound. I'm going to read them to you, and then let's talk about it for a second. So, where did they go? Careful the wish you make, wishes are children. Careful the path they take, wishes come true, not free. Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. And here's the clincher. Careful the tale you tell. That is the spell. Children will listen. Now remember, in this bit of her song, children in this analogy are the wishes you make with your heart. And she's saying, careful the tale you tell, that's the spell. And the thing in this moment that's so profound is the witch is telling you this, which means, because she's coming from a place of authority and understanding. She understands spells. The rest of the film, the characters are running around trying to survive and figure out how to rise to the occasion of magic and trying to accomplish this task in front of them, and they're all this kind of victim to these circumstances. The witch is the one calling the shots and moving things around. So when she comes from this place and says, careful the tale you tell, that's the spell, she's letting you in on a little secret. Here's the deal. What's actually happening behind the scenes, the supernatural element going on here that we're all influenced by, is the story that you're telling with your life affects the wishes in your heart. It affects what you're looking for in the future, what your desires are connected to, what you expect to take place, and your expectations and hopes and anticipation actually produce the results in your life. Careful the tale you tell, because that's the spell. Your children, your wishes, are listening. So when we're running around in our lives, telling people what we're thinking, what we're expecting from the future, what we're afraid of, what we're nervous about, what we're anxious about, you guys, we're casting a spell over our own life, and we're conditioning our own perception and our faculties to bend toward the things we're constantly talking about. And you might not realize that you're actually attached to this stuff because you're talking about it in a negative light, like, oh, I don't want this, and this is happening, I hate this, and whatever. Complaining, being negative, looking at everything that's wrong, seeing the deficit. When you draw your attention to that and it comes out of your mouth is actually forming the path in front of you, and the rest of what you desire and expect starts to shape to what you've let come out of your mouth. So the powerful thing at the end of this whole thing is be mindful of the narrative, the story that you let come out of your mouth, the words that you release, because they do determine the world you live in and the destiny that you walk out. Profound, enchanting, beautiful, and also very, very biblical. So you guys, be mindful of the tale that you tell, because your kids are listening, your wishes will come true. And they don't come free. Yeah, consequences, the whole thing, right? So anyway, love this movie so much. There's so much fun, and it's clever. The lyrics are witty, and it's modern, and it's playful. All these fairy tales kind of blending into one story. It's such a fun journey. It's such a fun adventure, and the music is also just really engaging and entertaining and super fun. So if you haven't seen the movie, obviously, I'm a huge fan. I think that you should watch it. And remember, you guys, when you're watching a movie, you're never alone. So you guys remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel and this video. Tell us what your favorite part of Into the Woods was. What were some of your favorite lines in there? Put them in the comments below. We want to hear about that. And hit the bell button so you get notifications when our videos come out. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, you can do that right here. And if you want to see other Spirits in the Theater videos that we've done, you can see those right here.